Hi everyone, it is time for a new reading vlog, and today I'm going to be reading some of my 5-star predictions, and I'm so excited. I have been trying to get out of a reading slump for the past 2 months or so, and it's honestly been going really well, but I can't say that I've had a lot of like actual 5-star reads. And there's just so much that, I want to read and I want to get excited for. And I really want to find the books, especially on my physical TBR, that I think I'm going to absolutely love, There are some new releases that I recently bought, or maybe some books that I've had for a while that I just need an excuse to read. So let's jump straight in. So a book that I just got 2 days ago is Amari and the Metalwork Menace by B.B. Alston. I love this series so much. I literally think I've had, I think all of them I've given 5 stars, and I know in the last book before this one, obviously in series that are a little bit longer, sometimes you get the fear, even if you love it, you're like, especially if you love it a lot, I feel like sometimes you're like, what if the next one isn't as good as the previous one? And I never had that feeling in this series. I remembered the last book, I was like, oh my god, like, how is it basically kind of getting better? I'm so excited for this. So obviously, like, this is a hard one to include because it's in a series, and I'm not really used to talking about books in a series. Obviously, I'm not gonna spoil anything, which means I'm probably not gonna be able to tell you that many details, but I will tell you about my feelings, of course. So I am so excited for this. This absolutely feels like a book that I'm not gonna want to put down, and that is actually an experience I desperately want to have because I have, I've been reading consistently, but I haven't been able to have a chance to like devour a book, and, just stay up late and, reading it, and I want that. So this is absolutely one I am going to be getting to. Then a slight bonus mention is The Governess Game by Tessa Dare. I'm in the middle of this. Well, not actually, I started it today, but this is a reread for me, but I have not read this book in, at least 6 years or something like that. And I love Tessa Dare so much, absolutely one of my favorite authors. She was the first historical romance author that I fell in love with, and it just, her books feel very special and dear to me. And so I finally bought this book and the next book in this series in December. It's time for a reread. So obviously, like, I know it's a 5-star, even though it's been a long time, I have no doubt it's still gonna be a 5-star, but I want to mention it in this video because I want an excuse to talk about it. So this, of course, will be read, and I'm so excited, and I will tell you the plot later. Yes, okay, now let's mention a book that I actually is by a new to me author, because I do want to try to find those as well. I want this to be a combination of authors I know and love, and authors I don't know and I'm hopefully gonna love. The Seventh Champion by Sylvia Mercedes. And I actually have a few adult romantasy books that I technically could be 5-star predictions, but I do want to do a separate romantasy video, so this could still end up in there, to be honest. But I don't know, from the first moment that I saw this cover, I was like, oh my god, I'm in love. And then I saw India Holton blurb it and, like, say something really great about it, and it just is giving me such good vibes. And here it says she's the kingdom's only hope, he's the assassin sworn to kill her. And I feel like since I've been reading mostly contemporary in the past year, I obviously miss the high stakes and intensity and the feeling of like, how the hell are they going to be able to fall in love despite, all the obstacles in their way? And like, I just kind of love that feeling, honestly, and I've missed it. And so hopefully this is going to give me that. Next up, I have to read Get Over It, April Evans by Ashley Herring Blake, which is another author that I already know and love. I again need an excuse to read this. I have read and devoured every single one of Ashley Herring Blake's books. I don't think I've ever given anything less than 4 stars. Most of them are 5 stars for me, to be honest, because like there's just always something for me to love about them. And I love the way she builds characters and deep emotions and the connection between them. And this one, I forgot. I think, okay, yeah. It says that she stole her ex. This summer, she just might steal her heart. April's ex-fiance left her for a younger woman. And now she finds this younger woman And she is now also, you know, brokenhearted, and they broke up as well. And then, you know, I don't know. Yeah. And I think they need to like work together or something. Definitely some forced personality aspect. And I don't really know. And I don't want to know much more because with my favorite authors, I like to be surprised. And I'm obsessed with this cover and like the night setting. And I love this series. And again, like, oh my God. Yeah. Anyways, so I absolutely want to be reading this, and I know I'm going to love the shit out of this. So, and I think the last book I'm going to mention for now, also, I don't think I specified. These that I'm talking about right now are at the top of my TBR, but I'm definitely going to change my mind in one way or another, and it's more of an idea. And to remind myself what I have and what I think I desperately want to read, and then I'm sure we're going to run into something along the way that I did not mention. But anyways, the book that I want to say last for now is The Ex-Vows by Jessica Joyce, which is mostly an author that I haven't read from before. But why do I say it like that? I read a novella by her, which was like 80 pages, and I loved it so much. Like, honestly, that was absolutely a 5-star for me. And I just, even though it was so short, I felt so connected to the characters, and the romance was so beautiful. And so I have absolutely high hopes that I'm gonna love this, you know, full-length novel by Jessica Joyce as well. And I've heard a lot of my favorite authors recommend this, and so I'm ready. I am excited, and I would love a chance to read this, so hopefully it's gonna happen. I think for sure this is the one I'm obviously gonna be reading first, which isn't like the focus of this video, but I will tell you obviously when I read some more or when I run into another book that I want to read. Hello everyone, so it is time for an update. I got some books today. Recently I didn't buy that many books, to be honest. So, you know, this isn't bad, but I did just do a book haul, and here I am a few days later with 4 books, but 2 of them were on sale, and 2 are also like new exciting releases that I cannot wait for. And I kind of set a rule for myself that I couldn't buy any new book until I finished at least 1 physical book. You know, like for every book I can buy a book, which isn't even realistic, but like emotionally I can let myself do that, even if I can't afford that, you know? However, I honestly like can afford that with the volume of physical books I've been reading so far this year, which in both January and February it was 1. So, you know, absolutely tragic. So this is certainly breaking the rules. However, now I'm gonna solve it by telling myself I can't buy any new book until I read 4 physical books, you know? So we're upping the odds, but I am super excited to show you this. It's literally almost midnight right now. I'm gonna go to bed, but I've been really excited for this, and it got me through work today, you know, because I was like, I can go to the bookstore after. So probably the most exciting book in this pile is In Her Own League by Liz Tomford, and it is this beautiful edition. And they also had this bookmark in there for free, which is super cute, and love that. So I can use it for this book. And she's gorgeous, and she's super exciting as well. So I love Liz Tomford. I have read every single one of her books except for 1. I've been looking forward to this, of course. I don't even know the plot, and I don't care. So I think I will absolutely be devouring this in the next few days. Then I got a book I've been wanting for 1,000 years, which is Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. And I read this and I adored it, and I've been wanting to buy it for 1,000 years, and this was discounted as well. And I also told myself, it might have been in this video as well actually, but I'm not sure about that I want to do more rereads. And I would love to reread this. Listened to the audiobook when I first read it, and I know I loved every second of this. And I always tell myself it's my favorite Hannah Bonham Young book, but I remember basically nothing. And so I desperately need to read it again, and so now I can, and I'm very happy. Okay, then I got 2 books. The other 2 books were the buy one get one half price, and they, Waterstones had this like double stamps day today, which I didn't even know. And so technically, you know, it got me like stamps that I can use for another book. So it was a bargain I couldn't say no to. And so the first book is actually one I have not heard anyone talk about. And I, for the past few years, have been super specific with like what books I buy physically. I put a lot of thought into it. Most of the time, it's like authors I already love, or I need to get like multiple recommendations. If it's a new to me author, I need multiple people to recommend it to me, or someone whose opinion I really value to get it physically, you know? And so I really like, yes, I honestly do kind of think that is for the best generally, but sometimes also I miss just, you know, like looking for books and just browsing. And so this one, did I say the name? I don't think I did. Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. So don't know, maybe I do know this author's other books, but I don't think so. And they also have these beautiful sprayed edges that are gorgeous. And it says, "Until we meet again." And the cover is beautiful, and V.E. Schwab said, "Impossible to put down, sweeping, heartbreaking, and utterly gorgeous." So it says, Evelyn has lived countless lives, and in every single one, she's been killed before her 18th birthday. And it's basically the concept that she has like a sworn enemy that in every single life they fall in love and kill each other. And now, you know, in this life, she really has to stay alive for like her sister or something. And she has to try not to fall in love with him and, you know, break her curse and stuff. And I feel like it just sounds super fun and, you know, like angsty and intense and higher stakes, which I have been craving a lot. Also, I was looking for a book because I wanted another book to get the buy one, get one half price because I wanted to get this one, which I don't know how to pronounce it. If it's like Hecate in English or something like that. I don't know, but it is by Nikita Gill, who I love. It's actually also a special edition, and so like absolutely, like how gorgeous are they, you know? Like I'm obsessed. And so I love Nikita Gill. She is my favorite poet, and this is a novel written in verse, and it's like a, you know, Greek myth and obviously about Hecate. And yeah, I love Greek mythology, and I feel like this is gonna be a very different vibe to like any of the Greek things I've read before. And I love novels in verse, honestly. Like I do really enjoy them, and it's been ages since I read one. So I'm gonna go to bed. However, I did want to tell you that I got to page 98 of Amari and the Metalwork Menace, and I'm loving it. It is amazing. Again, I can't tell you much about it specifically, but I just love middle grade so much. And this series, like, I love Amari as a protagonist and following her journey of like how she grows as a person and the lessons she learns and the friends she makes along the way. And I just love middle grade in general, but especially like the way that the series, B.B. Alston just does it so well in this series. How it feels like comforting and safe even when there's danger. And at the same time, the danger makes it, you know, every time it's addicting. And, you know, I am excited to find out what's going to happen and how things are going to resolve and all of that. And I just love those feelings. And I'm so happy about that. So I will absolutely continue. I'm going to try to read this in bed before going to sleep, which I honestly fail most of the time because I end up on like either Instagram or TikTok. But at least a few pages. You know, I'm gonna get to page 100. I also did finish 2 physical books so far this month. And so, like, I am making progress. And, you know, like, I am 100 pages into one. And I'm sure I'm gonna get through another soon. So, like, we're getting somewhere, you know? Hello, everyone. So, it's maybe 2 days later. And I have a few updates. And I have been doing a lot of random things. And I also don't remember exactly what I told you about, but let's talk about everything. So there's been multiple phases. So first of all, I started reading this one, of course, and I don't think I actually read more than when I last talked to you. Obviously very much enjoying this, but yesterday was a very sunny day, which never happens. And so I feel like when it's sunny outside, it does give me a very different mood when it comes to my reading. And mostly it's like, it makes me want to read contemporary romance. Then I was like, okay, perfect. So I need to start this, which is the In Her Own League. So I did read 40 pages of this, obviously not very much. But I am enjoying it for sure, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't really know where it is gonna go, like plot-wise, but then I was kind of like, I I obviously read multiple books at the same time very often, and I'm very chaotic, and partially it does work for my reading a lot. But partially recently, I have started quite a few physical books that I haven't finished yet. And so I didn't like the feeling of starting something else before finishing Amari. However, there's actually another book that I started even before that I think I mentioned to you, but I'm not entirely sure. The Governance Game by Tessa Dare. So I started this maybe like last week or something. I've been wanting to reread Tessa Dare's books for a while, and I'm so happy it's finally happening. And I really got into the story, and I'm obsessed with the romance. So I'm over halfway through now. I'm on page 220, and I think I will definitely be devouring it and finishing it today. And then I don't know what I'll do. I mean, like, I could read In Her Own League before finishing Amari, but I think I'm gonna finish Amari first. That is like the vibe I'm feeling right now. But there's so much that I want to read, and I'm like, I wish I could literally just read everything at the same time, because there's other books that I'm thinking about as well, which is specifically this one and this one that are, facing out right behind me, because I keep looking at them and they are some of my absolute most anticipated releases, and I love both of those authors. And so I'm like, I need to get to it, but again, I don't really want to start it before I finish these. So I mean, what a great problem to have. What a great problem to have. However, there's actually a book that I have finished that I didn't tell you about, which was Amelia, If Only by Becky Albertalli. So I did not read this physically. I listened to the audiobook. I really needed to listen to an audiobook yesterday, and I was just very conflicted. And then this one was there, and I was just like, you know what? I think I actually would prefer listening to this on audio, because basically I absolutely adored Imogen Obviously by Becky Albertalli. That was my absolute favorite book by her. And I started a little bit of this physically. Oh, it was actually 64 pages before. And so I started that, but then like I was enjoying it, but the vibe is very different. Even though this is a super short book, compared to Imogen Obviously, that one is like, I think 450 pages or something. But I was just like, I felt like I would enjoy it more on audio, because I don't love the plot of this, and so then I was like, I think that, the narrator sounds really nice and all of that. And so I did devour it, but unfortunately I did not love it as much as Imogen Obviously, which I kind of started like having that feeling when I, picked it up the first time. And even based on the plot, it's just like, this one is a very different vibe. And so basically, it of course follows Amelia, who is a very big fan of this YouTuber called Walter. He's talked openly about bisexuality and in ways that she related to, and so she felt connected to him in those ways. And so she desperately wants to meet him. And so this book is a lot about that. And then like, she goes on a trip with her friends. And so there's some like friend group shenanigans. And I really liked those aspects, but I was really excited for the romance because it's supposed to have a sapphic I knew it was supposed to have, a cute like best friends to lovers sapphic romance. And so that is absolutely not the focus of this book, which is of course not a bad thing. And it wasn't even like in the description, to be fair, it did not sound like it was going to be focused on the romance. And Imogen Obviously also was like very focused on the coming of age parts of the book, but I did really love that romance as well in here. It felt like it just kind of happened at the very end, and I wished we could get a little bit more. And so I wasn't as invested in this as I was, again, in Imogen Obviously, which is okay, because I loved that book so much, and so like I didn't need to love this one just at the same level. But I wanted to read it, because of the summary cover as well, and so I'm not mad about it. But yeah, a little bit disappointed, but it was still cute, and I enjoyed the, dynamics of the like friend group and everything. But I didn't love the, like meeting the YouTuber vibes. Like, he was nice and the moments were good, but it just felt kind of strange a little bit. And so, but that's okay. I'm happy that I finally read it. And, I'm just gonna have to reread Imogen, obviously, for the feelings that I was looking for in this one. And that's fine. That being said, I really want to also find another audiobook. So obviously the purpose of this video is to focus on physical reading, but also the bigger purpose is to read a lot of books that I'm super excited about, even if it's, different format. And so I want to listen to an audiobook because I really want to reorganize my bookshelves. I have gotten super stressed because of something happening in my apartment and dealing with that. And so I was just like, I really want to try to like fully relax and actually calm myself down today. And so I picked up a coloring book that I bought recently, which is the Cozy Vibes by Coco Wayo. And this one has like some really wholesome quotes as well, like very basic ones, but just like really sweet and, cute and super easy to color into as well. And I am very bad at things like this, but it does feel incredibly relaxing and I think I really need that. And so I want an audiobook to go along with this as well. And so there's two main options that I'm thinking about. And you know me, clearly I could end up reading something completely random as well, but I don't know. I'm feeling good about my two choices. So first of all, it's actually another reread, which like makes sense because obviously I'm craving the like familiarity and the comfort of the fact that like I loved this book already and I love the author. Our Favorite Songs by Anita Kelly. So this is actually one of my absolute favorites by Anita Kelly, even though I love all of their books. It is like a forced proximity, snowed in romance, and there's something just like so like poetic and beautiful about it. And I loved every second, and it's a novella, and I feel like it would be super nice to just like devour it in one sitting and have the best time and really disappear into the story. And so I do think that this is the number one choice, but the second one I actually have right underneath on Everand. Which might be a sign, and that is Second Chance Romance by Olivia Dade. I also have another super intriguing book on Libro FM, which is Please Don't Go by E. Salvador. I have had this on my TBR for a long time as well, or like at least a few months, and it sounds so good, but it is very long. It is super long. I think it's like maybe even like 500 pages, and the audiobook is almost 16 hours. And so like I listen, on a faster speed, so it's nothing like insane, but it is much more than, honestly, nearly twice as long as one book that I would normally read on average. And so I don't know if I'm ready for that investment, but at the same time, I think it's supposed to be like a super emotional, meaningful romance. And so I kind of do want to read it. It is calling my name. And so honestly, I could go through 1,000 other options, but I'm just gonna decide and start something, and then of course I'm gonna let you know. But I do also think I absolutely want to finish this one today, which actually I don't think, did I tell you something about the plot? I'm gonna comment on this one a little bit more, which my feelings are not gonna change before I finish it, but whatever. So this is of course a historical romance. We have Chase, who is a rake, and he kind of like keeps to himself a little bit. He does not open up his heart very easily, but he's very charming and social. And then we have Alexandra, who kind of ends up being his governess very randomly. So he takes care of these two girls. The two girls are super chaotic. They've had very painful, difficult lives. And so they don't trust anyone, and they basically try to get rid of every single governess that, is sent in their way. And Alexandra is, of course, she understands them more. She's an orphan just like them. And so she comes into his house to be his like timekeeper. And then he's like, actually I need a governess. And then she gets very desperate. And so she says yes to it, even though she didn't want to originally. And so she signs up for it, for like a temporary time because she needs the money and he needs a governess. And she is amazing with the girls. And then of course the two of them, Chase and Alexandra, have the best vibes together. Like the chemistry is amazing. The banter is so good, and they just like fit together so well, and I'm obsessed with it. And it is steamy, and it's super fun. And I feel like it's the right amount of like, it's not too angsty, but at the same time, there is, some things like standing in their way. Neither of them wants to get attached or fall in love, and there's a deadline and all of those things. And of course, like, he is her employer and he should not be getting together with his governess and any of that. And then of course, there's the two little girls, who emotionally depend on both of them and can't have anything going wrong. And so I love this so much and I really needed this, so I do think I'm absolutely gonna go back to reading it. And so I would love to finish this today and then we will see what happens. So I'm gonna stop talking now. Definitely gonna update you soon.
Say what you wanna say to me now.
It's finally time for an update and I am back with fresh new hair and I don't remember anything that I last told you, so I have not edited anything and I've been very busy all week. So anyway, I am visiting my parents. I have quite a few things to tell you about and I'm not gonna keep this video going for much longer, but I will be finishing one more book and I have finished at least 2 things since I last talked to you, so I'm gonna check out all the footage and if there's anything important that I forget now, I'm gonna tell you later. Do know for sure that I finished In Her Own League by Liz Tomford. I don't have the physical copy with me because I finished it on ebook on like my flight and stuff, and so I read that and I'm pretty, yeah, I did tell you about that one, and so I loved it. I loved the vibes. It felt very like mature and great communication. I feel like it wasn't as intense and addicting as some other books by Liz Tomford, but it felt very steady and kind of like stable and just, it was amazing. It was just like, you know what, you guys are meant for each other and you're definitely gonna be an iconic couple, and yeah, so that was that one. Then there's a book that I don't think I had time to mention to you, and that is Forever Your Rogue by Erin Langston, and I devoured this on audio. I loved it so much. So the heroine in this, basically she's a widow and she is kind of being threatened to have her children taken away to like her deceased husband's parents, and so she desperately needs a way to keep them, and that is where our hero comes in, where the two of them are gonna pretend to be engaged. And oh my god, this book was so sweet, so beautiful. I definitely think it's like one of my favorite ways that I've seen a single parent romance done, where it was just like, you know, a very meaningful part of the story, and both of the main characters, even the one who they're not his children biologically, but you know, he falls in love with them as well, and so I absolutely loved it, and it's just absolutely swoon-worthy, romantic. I literally was listening to the audiobook and I almost like cried multiple times because it was so touching and so beautiful. And so highly recommend this if you want a historical romance full of yearning and beautiful emotions and just like the most lovely romance. And so this was absolutely a 5-star, and I would highly recommend, and I'm definitely going to read other books by Erin Langston, and I'm very excited. And so now we're moving on to the more recent updates that I definitely did not tell you about. So I got 2 books that I got delivered here because I could not get these editions in the UK. In the UK, I have not found a way to get any non-UK edition books, which like makes sense in theory, but I'm like, can you let me buy a different edition? Because so many romance books, the US editions are so much prettier. Like, they cannot be compared. And so these 2 books I've been waiting for a while, and especially one of them that I'm going to mention in a second, and I finally got it and I immediately started devouring it. So the first one that I'm talking about is Playing for Keeps by Alexandria Bellefleur. I am now halfway through this book, and oh my god, no better feeling than, you know, getting a book and reading it immediately. Like, I love it. And at first I was like, I've been reading some ebooks and other things, so I didn't know if I would actually, you know, fully keep reading this right now. Because obviously when I'm here, I do a lot of things. I go out a lot, and so sometimes ebooks are better, like, you know, for convenience. But I have been devouring this. I was desperately waiting for this. Then it got published in like February or something, and maybe even January, and I couldn't get this edition, and now I finally could. So I love Alexandria Bellefleur, and this is her most recent sapphic romance, and the 2 main characters are basically the publicists of like couple that starts to get together in this, where the female character is a singer, super famous pop star, and the male character is a football player. And so the 2 of them are their publicists, and so they work very closely together And both of them, both the main characters, are very close to the like other two characters that are getting together, you know? And I really should remember their names. I kind of do. But anyways, and so they obviously spend a lot of time together and it's so much fun. I love celebrity romances. I've talked about this 1,000 times. But I was intrigued with, you know, this being like people behind the scenes, and I thought that would be really fun and a little different, and I am obsessed. I am literally devouring it and I love it so much. It's pretty fast burn and I am enjoying that. It feels natural at the same time, you know? It's definitely gonna take longer for like the emotional connection to fully develop and for them to let each other fall in love. So I think that's what I was talking about earlier. This is gonna be the last book that I read in this video. You know, now, now that I think about it, I didn't really read a lot of new to me authors in this vlog, but that's fine. I kind of wanted it to be casual anyway, and they still were 5-star predictions. And the last thing I want to mention right now is the other book that I got, which is this absolutely gorgeous Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Long. I also needed this edition. The other one is cute, but nothing just for me. If the cover is like beautiful and has the characters on the cover, that is what I want. I need my characters on the cover, and the color scheme of this is just, it's so magical. And so this is supposed to be some cozy sapphic fantasy romance, and I cannot wait to read this as well. So I'm very happy, and I will talk to you very soon when I finish playing for keeps.
Wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to.
Hi everyone, it is time for a super quick car update. I am sorry about this shit lighting, but I love updating in the car, and I have 1 second. I finished Playing for Keeps by Alexandria Bellafleur, and I really want to, you know, end this video, and I want to edit it and upload it, and I feel like it was a mess. I definitely read some amazing books. I've had an amazing time. I really enjoyed this. I felt like it just, obviously I'm on a vacation, so I had more time to read, but I have been busy, and like, you know, every evening I've just been picking it up, and it was such a breeze to read. I enjoyed it so much. It is quite low angst. I kind of thought it would be angstier, which is like both a good thing and like it could be a bad thing. Obviously it's not for everyone, but I enjoyed it a lot, and I loved the connection between them and the chemistry, and it was steamy and fun and comforting and safe, and I feel like I said safe about the last book as well, and honestly I have been feeling very anxious, and so I really enjoyed that part of it as well. And so highly recommend it. It was so much fun and such a quick book. I think it's even a little less than 300 pages. It felt like the perfect length, and so I would highly recommend it if you want like a celebrity romance that feels a little different, you know, again like behind the scenes and sapphic and cute and fun and steamy and all of that. So highly recommend this. And so I would say this was a very successful video, even though it was a chaotic mess. Like there was not a single book that I didn't enjoy. I would say not all of them were 5-star, but they were definitely 4 stars. I didn't really specify the ratings, which is a bit of a fail, but like recently I haven't been rating books that much because I just feel like as an author as well, I don't really want to put out like exact ratings into the world because it just feels kind of like, you know, unfair to people who are technically, you know, my colleagues or whatever. And so that's the explanation for that. And yeah, so I will be starting another video where I read some more exciting books, and you're gonna see more of my cats because I'm still here for a little more over a week, and so I'm excited for that. Look forward to that. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, leave a cat emoji down below, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'm gonna see you soon in another video. Bye.